Who is Maxime Raynaud? I'll do you one better. Why is Maxime Raynaud?
Go, Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants stay.
Hope I'm saying his name right. Maxime Raynaud? What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports, and you guys have been mentioning this player a lot in the comments lately. Me trying to be the people's champ. I figured I'd do a video on him. So who is he? He's a 22-year-old French player. The Spurs have the 40th overall pick in the second round, at least at the time of this recording. So should we draft him in the second? I'll answer that just in a bit, but let's get to this scouting report from Babcock Hoops. And there wasn't a lot to find on him, so I was like, you know what? We'll try a different different website and see what they have to say. 7'1", about 250-pound center out of Stanford. Maxime Raynaud is a skilled 7'1" big man who blends shooting ability, rim protection, and rebounding at a high level. What are some of our team needs right now? His proficiency in pick and roll and pick and pop situations makes him a valuable offensive weapon, and his three-point shooting showcases his ability to stretch the floor. Raynaud is an effective shot blocker, and his rebound and production, ranking among the top in the NCAA, further highlights his impact as a presence inside. Okay, like what I'm reading so far. Raynaud's reliance on perimeter shooting rather than asserting himself in the paint raises concerns about his interior scoring. Questions remain about his ability to defend on the perimeter and handle NBA-level physicality. And we have a quote here from Matt Babcock in NBA Draft Analysis, and I assume this is his website, so thank you very much, Matt. Quote, a 7-footer who can protect the rim and space the floor will always raise eyebrows. Needless to say, Raynaud is an intriguing prospect. A 7-footer who can protect the rim and space the floor. Why do I feel like we have somebody like that on our roster right now? Could have two of the same thing be a bad thing? Anyway, continue on. Let's get to his strengths. Elite pick and roll pop threat. So pick and roll, pop, shoot, good. He is a legitimate floor spacer threat at 7'1". He's got a soft touch around the rim, a defensive presence, and a high-level rebounder. Great. However, there are some concerns, as there are with any draft pick, especially somebody in the second round or first round, depending on which website you look at. He settles for jumpers too often. Now, that's one thing that did just kind of open my eyes a little bit, because with all due respect to Wemby, there's been games where we're like, Wemby, do something in the paint, attack the rim, something, get in the post, and we'll just see him launch three after three after three, and it's like, you're so good near the rim, get in there. So that's a little bit of concern there. And of course, he must add strength to handle the more physical bigs he will face at the next level. And I was actually kind of surprised to see that here. I was like, dude's over 7 feet, 250 pounds. There's a lot of that not muscle. Does he need to work on his toning, his cardiovascular endurance? What's going on here? And then his defensive mobility. Questions remain about his ability to defend quicker players on switches, which in today's NBA is going to happen quite a bit. Here's the bottom line, what they have to say about Raynaud. Maxime Raynaud possesses a rare combination of size, shooting touch, and defensive presence, making him an intriguing NBA prospect. I'm intrigued. His ability to stretch the floor, protect the rim, and rebound at a high level fits the mold of a modern big. However, improving his physicality, interior scoring, and perimeter defense will be key to his success at the next level. If he continues to develop in those areas, Maxime has the potential to carve out a meaningful role in the NBA. How about a meaningful role with the Spurs? Well, let's talk a little more before about what I think about him. First off, where he's projected. I mentioned we're picking around number 40. I keep seeing him go anywhere from a late first rounder to the second rounder. I've seen a couple sites say maybe he's a lottery pick. It's really all over the place and seems to be up in the air. Good old Tankathon, a website I've used a lot to track our lottery standings, which we'll do again at the end of this video, has him ranked as the 55th best prospect. A recent Bleacher Report draft, a mock draft, I just looked at to see where they have him going 35th. So it's really hard to get a good gauge on where exactly he's going to be drafted. If he was to be drafted, let's say around 35th, could the Spurs do something like we did last year, but just in the reverse? You know, we drafted a player and then moved back a little in the second round. Maybe we have somebody draft him a little higher up and then give one of our many extra second round picks to grab him. I don't know. That's going to be a big question. And speaking of questions, our team needs, and I touched on this a little bit in the video, we need size. We are just way too small right now. We need rebounding. We need three-point shooting. And judging on his scouting report, and I did watch his highlights, but highlights only tell you such a small portion of what a player can do. You're seeing the best of the player. I'm like, okay, yeah, he can finish above the rim and he can shoot. But based on this scouting report and other things I've read, and from what you guys have said, He fits a lot of those team needs. So if he's available when we draft in the second round, or if we have to give up a future second round pick to move up a little bit to grab him, yeah, why not? He honestly, he sounds like the perfect backup to Wemby. He's got similar strengths and similar weaknesses. Yeah, I'm all in. Why not? I would really like the team. What I don't want to see happen, Spurs fans, is the Spurs draft all guys under 6'7". We can't do that again. I know Con Knuppel has been a player that's been mocked for the Spurs a lot. He's, 6'6", maybe 6'5", who the heck knows? Sure, we need shooting, but I think if we can get size and shooting in this draft, then that would be a home run for us because we desperately need both. Now, I mentioned Tankathon just a little bit. I want to close the video with this. Our current standing in the lottery has changed a little bit. We have dropped to number 9 with the loss last night. And can I just say, I'm going to be rooting for our Spurs the rest of the way to win. I'm not one of those that's going to wish that we lose to move higher up here. If we lose, so be it. And we probably are going to lose a lot of games coming up as our schedule is tough with a lot of playoff teams in front of us. We played a playoff team last night without their best player, and that game was terrible. And that's what I just don't want to see the rest of the season. We went, 10 minutes without a field goal in the second quarter last night? That's unwatchable. That's just terrible. Hopefully our guys don't have another game like that. I don't expect them to beat the Celtics or the Cavs, those type of caliber teams, but just don't. I don't want the game to be over before the third quarter starts. It's not. I don't want one of those games where you're like, it's halftime, it's probably over, barring a miracle. I hate that. I don't want to see these 10-minute stretches where we don't score. That's probably more of an anomaly than anything, but still, be competitive and just be competitive and grow. That's my request for the team, from the team the rest of the way. We have 11 games left? What's our record? Yeah, 11 games left. We've called every game so far. Spurs fans, don't plan on missing one. So just want to pat on my own back there, whatever. But we're at nice right now. The Heat won last night. They beat the Warriors with Jimmy Butler. A little revenge on their teammate. And the Heat, sure, they lost 9 in a row, but look at their schedule. They actually have they do have an easier schedule. I think I saw they played Charlotte twice and Washington twice, 2 of the top 3 worst teams in the NBA. The Heat are probably going to finish with a better record than us. Portland and Chicago's schedule is kind of similar to ours. I don't remember for sure, but I think the strength of the schedule is kind of the same. We might have the hardest schedule out of those 4 teams, but there is a possibility, not because we're tanking, just because we don't have the roster right now or the head coach, that we may finish in the 8th spot. And that's not a big jump percentage-wise, but it is a jump. I'm not rooting for us to finish 8th, but I think it's just going to happen. No way we're finishing any worse than that. Toronto and everybody above that, just no. But we might finish 8th. That being said, again, I hope we still play hard and compete. If we lose, we lose, but go down swinging, right? I love the way Stefan Castle came out in the third quarter last night, and a little props to him. Over 7 in the first half. Horrible game. I'm like, my goodness, you have games like this. There goes your Rookie of the Year chance. But he came out and showed that he doesn't let his previous bad play affect him. He came out and I think he hit his next 6 or 7 shots in a row. I think he hit all 6 of his shots in the third quarter, and then Mitch pulled him out because, how dare we keep a guy that's on literally NBA Jam on fire in the game and keep firing away? No, let's take him out because we got time for that rotation. You're out of the game. I know you're hot. I know you've hit 24 shots in a row and you got 30 points this quarter, but damn it, it's time to come out. So get out of there. I'm sorry. He should have been left in longer. That drives me crazy. But he really showed some fight in the third quarter, and nice to see Devin scoring over 20 a game again. So that's this is going to be whatever it is, but just keep playing, growing, and wherever we land up is wherever we land up. Spurs fans, that's all I got. There we go. Your thoughts on Maxime Raynaud? If he's available in the second round, do you agree with a lot of people that are putting this in the not community notes, but posting in videos? They're like, this is the guy in the second round. Do you agree? If he's there, do you want him? Very curious on your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up, like, support the channel, and subscribe and become part of our awesome Spurs community. I thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.
Go Spurs, go. 'Cause the